Rick Ricker with InfoClosure.com. I'm really happy you joined me for this segment. This is just a real quick overview of the site on how to pull information out in two different ways. One, I'm going to show you how to set up your push notifications, but before that, I'm going to show you the quick grab on how to grab data out of the database in an Excel spreadsheet and immediately go to work on it. So the screen that you're looking at is the initial login screen that everybody sees. So I just want to take you real quick and just talk, you know, what you're looking at and what is coming out here. So first I want to give you the quick overview of the screen and what you're looking at. In this first area, it's called the big list. This is everything being cried out on a specific day. Just below that is what's referred to as the opening bid. Now, the opening bid is what I'm most interested in because while the big list is everything being cried out, I really only care about those which have an opening bid. So when I'm looking at an opening bid, for instance, today, you know, on here you can see it's 11/12 of 2013 is our representative date. I'm going to click that, and that's going to give me every open bid today in Maricopa County, Arizona. And for me, because I'm old school, while this is lining up and going into position here, you can see there's 22 properties that represent the opening bids for today here in Maricopa County. And again, I can look at any of our available counties and pull the same data. Now, because I'm old school, I want to always pull that out to Excel and export that. So I hit export under the default. And that's going to open up in my Excel on my computer. So you can see here it's asking me to open Excel. I click open, and then boom, there is my spreadsheet opened up. And just going to give you a quick walkthrough of some of the column headings that are here. Of course, you have the address, city, zip, which is very important. You've got the subdivision. And these are all things that are designed or laid out for you to do your quick sorts. Now, while the opening bid is there, it's just a question of, do I want everything on the list or I want a certain segment of town? And again, with some very basic sort functions within Excel, you can immediately chop this list down and really go after what you're looking for. The whole art and the whole design of InfoClosure.com is to take the hours and hours of searching for potential properties down to a matter of minutes. So as I log into the site, I click this, I open this up in Excel, I'm there in less than a minute. Really excited about that. Now I can go into and carve up this list even further. So, you know, and what we might do there is, as you have subdivision, and of course you've got the trustee in here and trustee number, really probably the most important bit of information to get yourself started here is really going to come down to, you know, probably the property type as well as the open bid and what that looks like. So as you come over here and look at property type, it's the very last one. You've got SFR, which is single family, and of course you can see condo here. There's a couple of condos. There's a planned community mobile home and a fixed mobile home here, and pretty much the rest of this is all single family home. So if let's say you're looking for condos, well, the real quick and easy sort here is to sort by the type. And again, let's say you're looking for just condos. The condos go to the top. And for instance, let's say I just wanted to take this and drop everything else out. I can delete this, and now I can look at the two condos that are available for me and the respective opening bids. I've got one opening at $44,000 in Phoenix on Vermont, which is Unit C. Then I've also got one in Scottsdale that's opening up at $124,000 on Chaparral, Unit 108A. Again, just a very quick overview of what the speed at which you can take to get to these particular properties. And, you know, then the process starts about, okay, one or two or none of these meet my criteria, and I can then go further in terms of the analysis and just taking it to the next level and saying, okay, let's run comps on it, let's go right to that subdivision or that development, pull comp C. If the opening bids here represented in column U, one at $44,000, one at $124,000 are a good buy if it's worth going after or not. So I'm really going to stop there with that component because that's the quick way to get into the database and see what's coming up for the next day. Okay, and if you've ever heard me talk about how do I manage this and how do I go about jumping into this space, I always play today for tomorrow, today for tomorrow, today for tomorrow. And, you know, of course, as you can see, the date here, 11/27, so I picked today for today. just for the representation, because tomorrow, in this case, is Thanksgiving, so there are no sales tomorrow or Friday. But, you know, again, I would be coming back on Friday, and I'd be looking at what's available on Monday, getting it down to the search I'm looking for, do the analysis, determine my max bid amount, which you can look at a different video to walk through and see how we come up with a max bid number. But for this purpose, I'm going to close out with this and take it away from this screen. I'm going to go back to, on the screen, to the Deal Desk homepage. And again, as you can see, this brings me back to the default screen as I log in. Now, if I want a certain segment of properties to be coming to me on a push notification, for instance, it's, you know, today it is about 4:45 in the afternoon. This is a fairly representative time which I would go in the system and look for what's coming up the next business day at auction. Now, the push notification, very important design that basically says, hey, I like to run my list at 3 or 4 in the afternoon, but the reality is, after I run my list, there may be an opening bid that comes up because they come up real time through the info closure process. So as those come up real time, if I run my list at 3 in the afternoon and I don't look at it again at 5 or 6 in the evening to make sure I didn't miss something, I may miss something. So what it comes down to is I'm going to walk you through our push notification, and the whole purpose of the push notification is a proactive way of saying, hey, whenever I ran my data, I will be notified later in the day or based on the parameters I set, and I'll show you how that works. So you can set the parameters to your liking. You can get everything on the hour, every hour for a 24-hour period, but keep in mind, the trustees aren't open. Our systems and our scrapes that go out to the websites that the trustees have, nothing new is happening after probably 7 p.m. because they're all shut down. So when I do it, I usually go from about 8 a.m. to about 6 p.m., and that pretty much covers everything, or 7 p.m. I don't run it on a 24-hour cycle, even though I could, because there's nothing new coming to me. The push notification design is that if there's anything new from the previous run, and it runs once an hour, it'll notify me and say, hey, Rick, there's 1 property or 7 properties that showed up with opening bids you should probably be looking at based on the criteria that you put in. So let's take that for a run. I come up here to New Search, okay? And as that opens up, I can do a one-time search, which is kind of similar to what I did with just grabbing the data for tomorrow, but I really don't want a one-time search. I'm gonna do a search and save the preference, but I need to name it. So let's just call it, you know, Rick 20. I don't know how many reports I have in there because I do run a few different reports for myself. But let's say you have a client named Rick and you have a little code for them, 20. And you're going to go to the next screen. So that's, you know, if you're an agent, you have investors, you can do a particular report for each one of them. You could do a group report and send the information out to all of them. It's really how you want to do it. But basically coming down, the states in which we have data for, I'm going to go specifically to Arizona for this example, Maricopa County. And in this case, I want kind of anything and everything in Maricopa County, so I'm not going to go city specific. But I could go city specific, and if I chose a city, I could even go zip code specific. So this is a very detailed filter system for you to get what you want. In this case, I'm just saying, hey, Maricopa County, I'm going to just kind of create a little report system for me. You'll see as I walk through it. So as I click next there to take myself to the next screen, this is just initially identifying, okay, what state do you want to be in? And as that's rolling over to it, I'll let you know, it's advisable to do, if you're going to go in multiple states, let's say you have an investor or yourself, want to look in multiple states, it's really important, in my opinion, to pull the states separately. Even if it's an identical report, pull them separately, because the thing runs so much faster and so much more efficient. So in this case, let's say I'm going to do a report, and I don't want to classify, I don't want to filter anything out between residential, commercial, or anything unclassified. But let's say I have a square foot requirement. I want a minimum of 1,300 square feet, and in this case, this particular report for a client, you know, up to 2,400 square feet. Let's say I'm looking for some rental properties. I don't have a preference necessarily on year built, you know, because it works off a min-max. Or, you know, you could do a pool, whether yes, no. If I leave that blank, it's going to give me a pool in either case. So let's say I just run my report this way, very basic. And now here, and again, I want to create a distinction here with the opening bid. If you don't put at least $1 in the opening bid category here on the minimum side, you won't get, you'll get everything. Okay, so if you don't have at least $1 in there, by putting $1 in there, it's going to say, hey, give me anything that's $1 or more. So it's saying, give me anything with just an opening bid, regardless of what the opening bid is. And of course, I could put a top end on that. Let's say I'm not going to deal with properties over, $300,000 or $400,000. I could say, cap me out at $280,000 on the opening bid, because I don't buy anything, 300 plus anyway for this particular report. And again, that would filter that out. So again, just to recap this page, the opening bid specific is if you do not put at least 1 on the left-hand side here, which would be the minimum, so we got minimum and maximum. If I don't have at least a 1 in here, you will get everything that meets your criteria coming up, not only tomorrow, but into the future that we have in our database. Okay, for the moment, I'm just gonna bypass a couple of things because I want to give you the quick way to get in and just draft a very basic report for you. So I'm not going to go into retail, rental comparisons, or wholesale comparisons at the moment. That's kind of an advanced report, and we're going to be sharing that with you on another video. Again, this one is designed around 2 ways to get into the system quickly. One by pulling it through the Excel spreadsheet, which I already showed you, and the other is to just set up your initial push notification system, and you can do that by client or a customized report for yourself. So here I did a minimum of $1, maximum of $280 on an opening bid. I'm going to leave the original loan amount alone because to me it's irrelevant at the moment. It's just not a concern for me. And I'm going to click Next to move on to the next screen. Okay, then it's saying, how long do you want to capture this data for? So let's say I want to do on this report, I just want to do a 60-day run. So I'm going to go out to, 01, 27, and it's going to be 2014 in this case, as we're just coming to the end of 2013. So let's say I want to run this out about 60 days and see how this report does. Of course, I want to identify this button here so it does actually take this into account. The interval portion, again, I'll pass on because I just want this report to run. Now, you can put this out a year, 6 months, a week. Doesn't matter. I ran it out 60 days just so I have this report in play for myself. Then I'll click Next. Now here goes back to the notifications. When do I want my notifications? So there are no sales on Saturday and Sunday. So I'm going to take it off of Sunday here, and I'm going to go Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And I only want mine between 8 a.m. and 6 p.m. So I'm going to clear the midnight hour there. And I'm going to come back up to, I want 8 a.m., 9, 10, and I'm just going to kind of roll through here. Noon, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 p.m. So if you follow that, I'm just basically taking kind of the business hours. So if something comes up that the system thinks that I may not have seen based on the last time I ran a report, every hour this is going to run a report based on my current criteria and shoot that out to me. And so here I'm going to click Next. So you can see I'm going 8 a.m. till about 6 p.m. Monday through Friday, and that's going to give me my push notifications on those hours. Click Next to move to the next screen. This is a recap. This is saying, okay, my report name, Rick 20, in Maricopa County, Arizona, square footage between 1,300 and 2,400 square feet, at least $1 opening bid up to $280,000, and it's asking, again, the recap here, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, with this hour time frame. And, it's basically saying, do you want to search now? I click yes. Now, there's a good chance, the report is light. It would, I was going to say it even could show 0, just because, tomorrow's a holiday in this particular scenario. I'm sitting down the day before Thanksgiving, and so we have 2 days, actually, that we don't have any opening bids for. But this is looking out into the future with any opening bids that met my criteria. So as I kind of scroll over, I've got these opening bids here, and again, from $1 up to $280,000 was my criteria. So there's my breakdown there. I can take this and I can move this out into an Excel spreadsheet by hitting the default and really taking a look at these properties and just deciding what I want to do with them and how I want to roll them out. So as I'm kind of scrolling through here, I'm just kind of looking left to right at the data that's laid out for me. And again, all residential properties. In this case, I didn't particularly filter out commercial properties, but there is nothing that meets that particular criteria. So as I kind of scroll back to the left here, just kind of taking a look, at the different, cities and zip codes that these fall in, all areas that I like, and just going to shoot into one here, and let me take a quick look here at one I think might be a good buy here. This Sutton and Gilbert. Just want to drop into this for a second and take a look at the screen with you. And if we haven't looked together at the detail page, which I think is a very powerful piece, one of the most important things for me is I want to get a feel for, where does this property, lie? And right now, which is interesting, is this property wouldn't really rank high on my list, even though it has a very low opening bid of $73,000 and change. If you look at the map and the crossroads, and again, this is my personal preference, I don't want a home that necessarily backs up to a major street. And Higley in Gilbert, there is a fairly major road. The street view isn't 100% in with Google Maps, which sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't. But you can kind of see the intersection here. But the home is actually sitting right in here, and I can tell by the address, 1172, that home is going to back up to Higley here. Now, the beautiful thing about this tool is, while it has a low opening bid and it caused me to go in and jump in and look a little bit further, the map allows me to go, that's not really an interior lot. Now, here, if you see where my cursor is moving, like these homes in here are kind of interior, right? They don't back up to a major street. Now, Houston is kind of a half-mile street. It's not near as busy. So, this property up here wouldn't really bother me, and none of these along in here, and on San Pedro right here wouldn't bother me. But if it backs up to Higley, there's less of the population that's going to be interested in that property. I know I'm digressing a little bit on what I really set out to do here, but just wanted to kind of share some of that information with you. Very powerful information here that helps us move forward. Now, one last thing I wanted to show you is the bid barometer. And the bid barometer that's loading up is giving a representation of what's happening in that particular area. Again, you can still see the street view and the map view, but it's giving an overview of what's happening in that area. And in this particular case, there are no properties. The bid barometer in this case is doing what it should be doing, but in the last 90 days, the purpose of the bid barometer pulls up properties in the last 90 days sold at auction. And in this case, there have not been any properties within a 1 mile radius to pull into this range. So there's no information on the bid barometer to support, a view of kind of a gauge of what's going to happen at auction. Okay, so kind of doing a quick recap and coming back to it as I drop kind of that detail page away. There's two fundamental ways to get into the database to extract data. Number one is to come in here and pick the day that you choose. Again, Maricopa County open bid. I'd click this link right here. I extract it right into Excel. The second way is to set up, as you just saw me walk through, on a new search, a push notification search that's going to say, hey, here's the data you're looking for that you may have missed. So it's giving me a notification. It'll send me an email based on my login email, and it'll tell me, it's a reminder that, hey, Rick, there's information coming up that you may be missing out on. Just jump in there and take a look and see what's new. So again, two very powerful ways of extracting data. Jump in, grab the open bid list, pull it out into Excel, massage it, analyze it, and move forward. Very quick at your fingertips. Second way, set up your push notifications, and you can set up an unlimited number. You can pick them out for different clients, different areas, different price points. You can kind of combine them. Whatever you'd like to do, there's total flexibility. I walked you through one on one time. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to call us here at the office. There's so many members of the staff who'd be more than happy to walk you through it as well. But again, watch this video again, and if there's any questions, don't hesitate to call. Again, it's Rick Rickert with Infoclosure.com. It's been my pleasure serving you.